Hello there, Texas State, and thank you for listening to this recorded webinar. A shout out to a couple of the faculty members who suggested we do this to make it easier than trying to coordinate everyone's schedule. What we'll do today is a very high-level look at PolicyMap. I'll try to do it in about 12 minutes. And I am Linda Futato. I do outreach, mostly south from Delaware on down through Texas in academic institutions. So we're going to start by looking at a PolicyMap screen. Everything you need to build a map or a table or a report is going to be found here. So this is always where you start. And PolicyMap is web-based. It's a data visualization and analytical tool that it's used to create maps and tables and to run reports. And it allows users to understand communities and to compare those communities. So looking at the map, the most common use of PolicyMap is the single issue map. And here it's highlighted in orange. And what we'll do is just take a quick walk through these four options on PolicyMap, but we'll start with single layer map. You'll notice that we have a map of the US. If you want to go to Hawaii, just go west from the word Mexico. If you're looking for something in Alaska, just head north. So it's US, states, and territories. There are many different ways to build a map. You can start by finding data that you're interested in, and this would be data layers or thematic data. You can start by zeroing in on a location. If you know the data that you're looking for, the easiest thing to do is to use the find box. And let's say I'm looking for obesity. The find box tells me if I have 8 options here for thematic layers. And so I will just choose one click, estimated population of adults reported to be obese. When you click on the find box, I'm going to get this map a little bit better centered. We could spend 10 minutes doing this. There we go. When you click on the find box, it automatically gives you a title. And if you click on the title, you will get information about the data itself. We do have thousands and thousands of indicators that you can use on your map. And you can go to a data directory to get more information if you would like to do that. The reason that we're seeing the US filled here is because PolicyMap always allows for ready comparisons, so the data is spread out across the country. You don't need to do that. If you started with a location, we could have just gone directly to San Marcos or wherever we wanted to go. And we'll see over here on the legend that we have some choices. We have the data description, and if we had additional years on this data, you could change that in the drop down. The variable allows you to change the estimated number or the percent. And in this case, it's shaded by the county. But because this is census tract is grayed out, if we zoom in, we can select that as well. And we'll do that in a little bit. You can change colors on the legend if you want, and you can add ranges or change your cut points. To make the map more useful, we can zero in on a location of our choice. There are predefined locations that PolicyMap has set up, or you can go address level, city, state, latitude, longitude, and here let's look at San Marcos, Texas. There you have it. And I will zoom in on that geography, because as we saw, we could get to the census tract level, and here we are. And if we wanted to show that on the map, we can click Show Current, and we'll see the map boundaries gives us census tracts in San Marcos. And if we zoom out a bit, we can see more shaded areas, and we can compare from what we see on the legend for the lighter shaded census tract areas through the heavier shaded, showing us what our percentages are for adults reporting to be obese. One of the nice things you can do with PolicyMap is create custom regions. And we have some choices, but it's just for the sake of time, we'll just assemble a few custom regions. So if you want to continue to look at a particular set of census tract data rather than creating it each time, you can create a custom region with non-contiguous or contiguous, doesn't matter, tracts, and then save it for future use. By clicking on any of the areas on the map, you'll pull up an information bubble that gives you information from that particular geography, in this case, the census tract, and then going up through county, county subdivision, county, state, US. So you have easy comparisons here. If you'd like to see the data in tabular form, you can build a table using the labeled tab, or since we already have a map built, we can just look at a table and PolicyMap will take the information that you've mapped and put it in tabular form. You can then change these locations. You could add counties or cities, whatever you want to do to compare the geographies. And the other thing that you can do with these information bubbles is get a report. Again, you could go to the report tab, but here we'll ask for a report. And this is telling us it would give us a report on that census tract level. What I'm going to do instead is show you the new community health report, which is often used as a basis for a community health assessment. Currently, it's at the county level, and I believe you all are in Hays, Texas. Coming later this summer, early fall, we'll have this to city level. So here we have the community health report. We are looking to build it for Hays, Texas. That looks like Hays County. That looks like Hays County to me. So we'll generate the report. And in a relatively short period of time, it shows us where we are. That's what we're looking for. And you can either scroll through the report, which can often make people seasick when I do it over a webinar, or you can use the hyperlinks to go through a particular area. So let's just look at healthcare access, because one of the things you'll find in this report is hyperlinks to additional data, data information, your bar charts, and even maps that we have created. Moving right along, we'll go back to the maps page. And we've already looked at single issue maps, tables, reports. We'll move to 3-layer maps, but just briefly before I do that, I'll point out that how you can print, download your data, share, or save is located here. 3-layer maps are a little bit different in that we start at a smaller area. So we'll go ahead and just do the city of San Marcos. And for those of you who type as badly as I do, you will appreciate that drop down. And what we can do here is build with a 3-layer map. We're going to build targeted areas. So we're going to overlay different indicators, up to 3 indicators. We'll start with the one we had done before. So let's just go back and we'll say, okay, we know it was obesity, and we'll just go ahead and choose that. The entire map turns purple because we're basically saying, give me everything, everybody that's available in the percentages covered by that indicator or available for this location of San Marcos. And then we'll add to that a couple of other layers. If you knew what you were looking for, again, you could put it in the find box. But this is something we haven't talked about. And these tabs represent subject areas where we can do a little bit more searching to find out what we're, if we don't know exactly what we want, or to see what's available in PolicyMap. So let's go to income and spending, and we will add to the map all people in poverty. And again, map didn't change because we have everyone available. So let's make this a 10%. We want at least 10% of the people to be living in poverty. So you see that we're starting to target in on the map. Additionally, let's find veterans. So if I don't know what I'm looking for under demographics, I can take a look at what's available, and I'll pull up, in this particular case, all veterans. And it would be nice to see that, so let's get rid of that. Again, that didn't really change, so we'll look for 5%. And yes, you can use the slider bars, but it's just quicker if I do it this way and let PolicyMap do the change for me. So now we can see a targeted area in San Marcos where we have these 3 indicators overlapping. And we can add to any map data points, address level data. So we'll just add, we'll add hospitals, data points, address level data. We'll add hospitals, see what we come up with. There's 1. If we had there's 2, 3, okay. And if we had a larger metropolitan area, we would see more of these. But 2 things that are important. One is, if you click on the data point, you will get additional information which can be downloaded, or you can create a radius report to look at the community profile around that area. And the other thing that's important, and to some people even more important, is that you can upload your own address level data. That is an easy task, done with a spreadsheet if you want, manually if you have a few addresses, but you can upload thousands of addresses by creating a spreadsheet and then just uploading it into the map. It is not shared unless you make it public. You can share with your colleagues if you choose to do that. And another way to look at data, and this is the most detailed way to do this, would be to look at our data indicators spreadsheet. So what we do on this spreadsheet, and you'll see some of the information we have here in terms of the geographies that's available, the years for that particular indicator, for that particular data set. This goes on and on and on, and it really would make you seasick if I scroll through, but I'll send you a link so it's easy for you to find this. You can download a list of the data, and then you can manipulate it in a spreadsheet. You could also print it, but I would say don't. If you print this list, you're going to cover a pretty good sized dining room table. So if you can use it as a spreadsheet, that's the better way to go. And of course, if you have questions about data, you can always ask us. Now that was a really quick overview of PolicyMap. The rest of what I'm going to talk about may or may not be of interest, but I wanted to stay within my time. If you have questions, let me know. I'm going to send you follow-up information so you have some of these links. And a couple of links I'm going to send you will include a link to the gallery, which gives you ideas, overviews of how PolicyMap has been used for health people. This Seton Hall University and how they rolled PolicyMap out across their public health program is, and it's a Master's of Public Health program. That's a really good webinar to watch. University of Delaware, Dr. Victor Perez does a really great job explaining how he uses PolicyMap. But for our Texas folks, you all are famous in Texas for Baylor University. The business librarian there, Carol, has done this fabulous use of PolicyMap, getting students out into the community. And when I go to library conferences and mention Carol, everybody knows her. So Waco, Texas is famous for Baylor's use of PolicyMap. It's very fun. You can also use the blogs, which are found under resources on our main web page, but use the blogs as a way to engage students with data, learning about data. Even if the data is a little bit older in the blog, it doesn't matter. You can still see how things are mapped and understand the difference between 3 layers, single layers, and data points. It's a great way to get students up to speed. Those are the high points of what I wanted to tell you about. I am happy to answer questions. You have my email address. And to remind you that the library is evaluating PolicyMap for possible purchase and use. So if it's something you find useful, let Scott Hope in the library know. And I'm also going to send you the link that he has set up so that you can get into PolicyMap across campus to test it out. I'm quickly looking at my notes, but that's pretty much what I wanted to cover in this high level. I think I made my time limit, and please let me know if you have questions or comments. Thank you so much. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.